Hey everybody, I'm a little cold because my space heater makes too much noise to run while I'm recording this, and you know what that means. That's right, it's time for another talking time-lapse video with me, your good buddy, Josh Davenport. As always, all the comics over at RGBros.com, and these videos are brought to you by the fine folks supporting the work over on Patreon, patreon.com/Josh Davenport, and that is Brandon, Dan, Vivian, Mike, Matt, and Tobias. So thank you all very much for your continued support. Today we are doing the talking time lapse of RG Bros Candy Withdrawal, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I had to double check on how to spell the word withdrawal because apparently I haven't spelled it in so long. I had to look it up when I was doing the title for this one. But we're rolling right along through our pencils here. I've already got the mocked out candy machine going there, and that was the thing. Like, I had the idea for this comic after seeing the candy machine at work. It was taking cards, but it's one of those things where it started sinking into me as soon as I started drawing. It's like, oh, I gotta fill out this damn candy machine. So trying to use a few little cheats here and there to fill that out here in a little bit. And then there's the inaccurate number pad on there. I don't know if you're paying close enough attention to it. Hopefully it didn't detract from your enjoyment of the comic. But yeah, it didn't include the letters along with the numbers on that panel. So I'll curse silently to myself and out loud to you. Damn it. Going down the Reggie fingers. I'll change those fingers up, I think, later in the inking process. So, what has everybody else there been up to this week? For me, I know I promised a video on Saturday, and then it got around to about 11:45 or something Saturday night, and I was like, there's something I was supposed to do. Oh, yeah, a video. That's right. So, that's why I'm recording this today, and it should be out to you very shortly. By the time you're listening to this, guess what? It will be out to you. You'll have it in your greasy palms. Got some good work going on with the boys here in this last panel. I like the way this one turned out. Drawing some PlayStation 4 controllers in there. Like I said in the last video, I did manage to get my hands on one of the NES classics, so I've been playing a bit of that recently, and I gotta say, pretty much all I've been playing on it lately is the original Metroid, because that's one of my favorites of all time. Not that when I was a kid, I never beat the original Metroid. Like, I always would just get lost in that game, and even as an adult, like, I know there are people out there who have committed that game to memory and know exactly where to go every time, and every time I play it, like, I feel like there are things that I remember, and then I just don't. Like, I always know to go left when you start the game and get the morph ball. And then after that, like, the giant shafts that you go through all are so samey that I completely lose my way most of the time. Typically, for me, that would be a deal breaker, but I have such a connection with that game from just being a kid in the 80s and loading it up and listening to that opening music, and then just going in and, running around blasting shit like crazy as Samus and loving every minute of it, that I didn't care where I was or if I was making any progress in the game at that point. Today I do, but I also have access to maps on the internet that allow me to figure out where the hell I am. So that's what I've been doing. I've been following a map through the original Metroid. I did not use the Justin Bailey code, so to my credit, I didn't go that far, but I am using a map because my ass gets lost in that game. Unlike Super Metroid, man, I feel like I could go through that game with my hands tied behind my back. I love it so much. Middle school, got that thing and just like sat in this room that was like off the carport to our house, just playing it nonstop on a little TV sitting on a bar stool, and that's not comfortable. But that game was so amazing that I didn't care. Just constantly play Super Metroid. It's still one of my all-time favorite games, and it annoys me. That's why it annoys me so much that we've heard nothing about a new Metroid title. Like, I played Fusion. It was pretty good. Played Zero Mission, which was great. I played all the Primes. Wasn't a huge fan of Prime 2. Prime 1 is still probably my favorite of all of them. But they were still enjoyable. The thing I didn't like about Prime 2 is the same thing I don't like about a lot of games that require you to, like, okay, other Metroid games, you can use, like, the X-ray vision, the X-ray visor to look through walls, like in Super Metroid and things like that. Prime 2 is one of those games that requires you to switch constantly back and forth between two states in the entire game. And if it's like a puzzle game, sure. And you could argue that, Metroid is puzzle-ish in its approach to certain things. And that's absolutely true. But it's also, an action game. And in an action game, if I'm constantly having to flip back and forth just to see or, navigate certain areas, and the whole game is based on navigating like that, then it really starts to tick me off. And I barely get by in the Batman Arkham games, which I love, but having like detective vision, it's like your brain just goes, be in detective vision all the time. So you can see stuff. But then you miss the way the game actually looks and the ambiance of Gotham City and stuff like that, because you're constantly just seeing everything in a blue detective haze. So it's finding a decent balance for that. I wasn't feeling it in Metroid Prime 2, and like I said, it still bothers me in games that I actually do play all the way through, like the Batman games. There was also Paper Mario. I can't remember what it was called. The one that was on the Wii, I think, where you were constantly switching back and forth between 2D and 3D. I was just like, this feels like the old arcade gimmicks where they're like, we need a reason to make this game last longer so people put more quarters in it. And that's probably not what Nintendo's intention was with that. They probably thought it was a neat mechanic. And to Nintendo's credit, a lot of times when they think something's a neat mechanic, like, it works out fantastically. And then there are other times where it just drives me insane. And having to switch from 2D to 3D every 2 seconds to make sure I'm not missing anything because I'm a stinging completionist drives me up the wall. And so I did not finish that Paper Mario. The last Paper Mario I completed was the 1,000-Year Door or whatever, and that was a fantastic game. And I'm going to join that not small group of other people who every time a new Paper Mario game comes out, you really want to like it. And since it's not like, RPG-ish enough, or even these days, almost not containing any RPG elements much at all, like, you just kind of start falling out of it. And I had the same problem with Sticker Star. A lot of other people got the game, played it, was looking forward to enjoying it, and just the fact that everything ran off stickers. And I'm one of those people who tries to conserve items so much that I get to the end of games and I just have potions coming out of my ass. So I would be like, I don't want to use a sticker in battle. So I'm just constantly stuck using the lamest stickers that you get thousands and thousands of and never seeing the cool animations because I'm like, I don't want to use that. What if I need it to cross a bridge later? Because there's another thing about that game is a lot of some of the stickers you can use in battle are the same stickers you need to use to do things in the world. And so that drives me nuts too. But that's enough complaining out of me about that right now. We'll see where we're at in this drawing. We're in the colors here. So we got the old green couch going. Adding the visual interest to all the candies here in a minute with the backgrounds. Oh, I did add some letters in there. Still not right, but I added them back. This was the interesting part, just being divvy up the colors, think about what colors actually go onto candy wrappers and chip wrappers, and make little faux just close enough to being actual labels, but not labels, things to add visual interest, that kind of stuff. I'm guessing that's a thing of Juicy Fruit gum that he's handing to Gilbert there. Juicy Fruit. Love the taste of it. Taste lasts about 0.5 seconds. So I haven't bought a pack of Juicy Fruit in like 1,000 years. I think the last pack of gum I bought was, what was it? I think it was some kind of Orbits or something. I don't chew a lot of gum these days. It's weird. It's one of those things like when you're a kid, like you go crazy for gum because you're like, I want to blow some bubbles and the flavors are so great. And then, for me, when I go older, I'm just like, I can't eat this. And then after a while, I just stuck chewing a thing. And I don't know what it is about me, but if I chew gum for too long, I start getting a headache. And I always chew gum for too long. So these days, I just save myself the headache and don't chew gum. Weird floppy bags of chips. But yeah, playing a lot of Metroid. About to go down and beat Ridley in the first one right now. I'm really hoping, like, it took me forever to get my hands on this NES Classic, but I still hope that they do an SNES Classic later this year or something. That would be fantastic, because they're going to put Super Metroid in there. Even though they show no signs of giving two craps about Metroid anymore, they know they can sell Super Metroid. They know that one's a winner. And apparently, comment and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I've heard is that Metroid games don't sell that well in Japan. I don't understand that, but maybe I just don't understand the Japanese games market as well as I, think I do. But yeah, I don't know. They were, had a pretty good string going for a while, and they put out Other M, and believe me, I'm a Metroid fanatic, so I played all the way through Other M. I played the whole game, folks. It was not great. Like, the gameplay was okay. The story was the biggest load of trash, like, in the world. Like, it hurt how dumb the story in that game was. And, it's just one of those things where people are like, well, maybe in your head canon, like, maybe all these things about Samus being, tough and a badass is just all things you've put on her, like, in your mind. You're just like, no, like, what other type of person goes in alone on alien worlds, and takes out tons of crazy-ass space pirates and stuff? Like, you don't get somebody who's just like, somebody please tell me what to do, that does that. And especially when your protagonist, who at that point in the timeline, and many people point this out, not just me, like, she's defeated Ridley on multiple occasions. They didn't put any freezing up or being scared in any game, and then all of a sudden we get to that one, and it's like this crisis where she's no longer able to even think straight or move, and that was garbage to me. Because when I think of, like, Samus Aran, in my mind, I'm going, like, Ellen Ripley style, where it's like, get down to business, take out some alien trash. And that's the kind of stuff we deserve, is like an Aliens 2 style, or Aliens, not Alien 2. Forgive my ignorance. Aliens. That's the kind of Ripley, of Samus we deserve in a game. If there's going to be, like, out-and-out narrative and her talking and stuff like that, they seriously next time just need to watch Aliens and model Samus directly off of Sigourney Weaver. Not, like, physically, because then people will complain, even though I still complain about the fact that Samus, one day just became, like, blonde-haired and blue-eyed. And I think they made her that way in, like, one of the comics or something. Maybe that's where that came from. But in the games, it's like, you play the first game, and she has, like, green hair. And don't tell me they can't do blonde hair in 8-bit games, because they've done it before. Anyways, looks like we're rolling on towards the end of this video, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for watching till the end, listening to me yammer on and on about Metroid, just because I think it's super awesome. So if you like Metroid as much as I do, drop a comment down below, and like these videos if you like them. Subscribe if you want to get some more, and I promise the next one is going to show up on time on Thursday. Technical issues aside, the technical issue this time being that technically I forgot. But I'm going to try and keep that from happening. I'm going to try and keep from burping in the last few seconds of this. Oh, too late. Did it anyway. I'll catch you on the next one. Like, and I'm not calling Nintendo out or anything. It's just one of those things, like, back in the 80s, like, all these